Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. Today's video is going to be all about the Hobonichi Techo English version. This is the A6 size. I have not had an A6 book before, and this surprised me with how tiny it was to me. So you can see it in my hand right here, and you can see my hand over it. So it is a very tiny book compared to A5. Here is the A5 cousin. Well, it doesn't even all fit in the screen turned that way because I lowered my screen a lot to get a close-up on this tiny book. But here is the Hobonichi cousin, and here is your Hobonichi Techo, the English version in A6. So you can see the big, huge size difference in that. I will be doing a whole separate video on a comparison between these two planners, but this video is just going to be a complete run through of the of this Hobonichi A6 English and what I think of it. And just to let you know the size, it's 4 inches by not quite 6 inches. So 5 3/4, a little bit over that though, but not quite to 6 inches. Okay. So let's jump into why I got this. I ended up getting this because I really have fallen in love with different aspects of the Hobonichi, and I'll tell you what those are when we get into this. And I wanted to try this out as my daily. I knew it would be small, but like I said, I didn't know it would be this small. And I didn't, know how I would do with it. But it was worth trying for me because, like I have stated many times, my daily is something that I can switch up because I use, mostly the dailies I've been using have been undated, but it's okay that this one's dated. I'm okay if days get wasted. And daily, I do not pre-plan ahead, and that is why I can switch up what I'm using because I'm not going in and writing any pre-planned events ahead of time in my dailies, even if they are dated. I'm not doing that. So my daily, I can pretty much switch up to anything. If you follow me, you already know this. I've used anything from tablets to ERIN CONDREN hardbound notebooks. I used an Inkwell journal for a while. I've used Emily Lay daily. Before this last year, I used her for 2 years straight. So I can use any kind of daily, and I always pair that with my weekly. Right now, the weekly planner I'm using is the ERIN CONDREN Vertical, and I have many videos out on that also and how I plan in it. And my weekly, I do not change out very much. Last year in 2017, I used 3 different weeklies, and I do have a whole video or more than that talking about those and how I use them. Last year I used Inkwell Press, Passion Planner, and then ended in ERIN CONDREN, and I'm still in ERIN CONDREN. This is all to say I don't switch out my weeklies very often because I pre-plan ahead. I'm a very functional planner, and that's a lot of work for me to switch out my weeklies. So I only do it when I really, really am craving a change and wanting a change for a specific reason, and I always test it out before switching fully. So, but dailies are easy to switch, and so it's a fun change for me. All right, since I was gifted the Hobonichi cousin from one of my subscribers, and then that was my first taste of Hobonichi, I bought the weeks after that, and I have a whole video on the weeks, and I will be doing a follow-up of how I'm using that. And now I have bought this English version of the Techo Daily. So let's just go through this as a review for people who are not familiar with this book. One thing I was surprised about is the cover is not as hard. It's just like a very thick cardstock, and I think it will hold up, but it is not as hard as the cousin. So if you have the cousin, it's not as hard as the cousin. And this little black book makes me just think of a little Bible. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just what it makes me think of. I like how the side is labeled with the year, and that's what the outside of the book looks like. I can't say that the vinyl is very aesthetically pleasing. One Star Leather, which I've reviewed one of their Leuchtturm covers, they make amazing covers for Hobonichis also, And I would love to someday have a cover for all my Hobonichis from them too. So the cover is not anything special and doesn't necessarily feel great like in hand. Then you just have a plain, thicker page to start out. You have kind of your title page of the planner. And then you go into your yearly views. So you have 2018. This is a 2018 planner. And then you have a look ahead at 2019. Now, like I said, this is the English version. In the English version, all the days are black except for Sunday, which comes in on red. Sunday comes in on red, and on their pages also, on the dailies. I will show you that. Then you have an entire, this is your, I don't know what they call it, but I call it my like year at a glance section. So you can see 4 months at a time, and they started you in December of 2017. And so you have every single day of the month, and you have room to write something in here. I was going to try to keep up with it just either as using it like an index, like on this one page, I wrote my target list, and so that would help me look back and find it, or using just what we did that day. So I can just look back and just, it's kind of nice to see what you did every day, but I have not kept up with that quite. So I'm not sure if I will keep up with that, but we'll see what happens with that. Nonetheless, however you use this section, I think there is just a myriad of ways you could use this section. I love it, and I think it's highly functional. You could write a gratitude each day. You could use it as pre-planning, which many people might. You might pre-plan out your appointments and, you know, birthdays, something like that. There's so many ways you can use it. So one thing I love about the Hobonichi is this Tomei River paper. I don't love how it ghosts because I'm still not someone who I would say loves the ghosting. But in case you're not familiar, it will never bleed through with even fountain pens or watercolor. So it can take an amazing amount of ink and not bleed through, but it does ghost. I love the way it feels in hand, and I love the way it turns really easily. I love those aspects of it. So then you end right here, 2018 December, and then they give you January, February, March into 2019. Okay, so they give you that ahead. They started this in December of 2017, so you have your monthly calendar, and then you have January of 2018, and these are your monthlies, and you can see the ghosting, kind of how it looks. I'll tell you something funny because you'll notice. I started writing my February dates in March, and I was like, well, how did that line up right? Well, this year, February and March both start on a Thursday. So I didn't notice that anything was off because February and March 1st both start on a Thursday. So I know this will completely mess me up, and I'm not really using the monthly in this planner, so it's okay. I'm not using this planner for the monthlies, but I was just filling it in for the sake of filling it in and seeing how it looked. But I won't keep up with my monthly in here, I know, as events change and stuff like that. But just, so anyway, I crossed out March, and these are my February dates. And in that case, I had to use February for March. So that's how it looks with ghosting and such. It is something you have to be okay with. That's how it looks right there. So let's go over what the monthlies look like on a month that I have not written in yet, or you don't see any ghosting behind it. So let's go to June. All right, something that I am still not used to in all the Hobonichi monthly view calendars is that they all have a Monday start, as do your weeks and their weekly in the cousin. But most American calendars have a Sunday start, just the bigger majority in planners. And that is something that is hard for my mind to get used to. It does help me that Sunday's in red to kind of alert me. It's kind of training my brain in a new way. But really, my mind is trained so much that Sunday is the first day here. So that is something really hard for me to adjust to in Hobonichis. And that is one reason why I don't depend on any Hobonichi monthly views. It's not, I'm not using their monthly views right now. And I don't need that for my daily planning. So, because this is not my only planner, as you guys know, I function on my weekly planner, my ERIN CONDREN, and my big Inkwell desk pad monthly on my wall in front of my desk. And those are the monthly views I go off of. All right. So Sundays are always in red. They do denote full moons and those all over the calendar. You do get your dates really lightly in gray for your previous days from the month before, and I really like that. And for the next month, you get it in light gray also right there, and I do like that. Something else I absolutely love is I love that they tell you what week of the year you're on. I just love that. I don't know what there is about that, but I just love looking and knowing, oh, we're in week 22 of the year. I just like that. I don't know. And you will notice here that in the English, it looks quite different from the Japanese version, which I will compare in the video with the cousin. I really do like to see all my words in English. It makes things seem less jumbled to me and just a little bit more clear, because I will say these monthly views already seem jumbled to me because my brain is trying to get used to the fact that Sunday is not over here, and my brain's trying to deal with all the ghosting too. So I'm not going to lie, that really trips me up. The Sunday being here and then all the ghosting, and all the grid lines, it seems to just make my brain feel jumbled. That's just me. But I do love how they give you the week you're on. I do love how it's in English, and I do love how they just write the month really big. It's the 6th month. So I like all those things a lot. So they're going to take you in your monthlies through the complete end of the year, and then they give you a couple months into 2019. Here's December 2018. All right, so then they give you January in 2019, and they write really big over it 2019 so that you cannot be confused on that. And then they give you February 2019, and they also give you March 2019. So they give you those 3 months of pre-planning, and then they give you a grid page to write anything you want on, and it says turning the page to a new year. I do like how they say that. Then you turn right in, and you're right into January, and it says coming up. So even though you get the December calendar in here, the December monthly calendar, you do not get December dailies in here. So just FYI, it starts your dailies on January 1. I do love how they give you space for a list for the month. The lines are very light dotted on this page. But I do like the clean look of the font and just the coming up January, and how it is not jumbled with anything else on that page, and it's just a very clean look to be able to write your list on. Of course, it won't look so clean if you write on this side with all the ghosting. I just have to note that. Okay, so then you get into your daily page. Let's talk about these daily pages. What intrigues me so much about them that I wanted to try this? Number one, it's a smaller book, and I thought I might like that because it sits on my table spot next to me at the table every day, and I thought, do I really need a book that big? Right now, you guys know I'm using the Inkwell Press Daily, and it's undated, so I thought, well, it's no problem if I take a break from it for quite a while and then come back to it. I'm not even wasting anything in that book. So this paper is about the most opposite from Inkwell paper that you can get, and it's just so much smaller. It's a completely different book, but I just wanted to give it a try for my daily. I love, even though I'm totally good with undated dailies, I love the way that their date is written. It's just so clean and so crisp. It's just January 1. It's Monday. And then they tell you it's week 1. And you guys know I love that. Okay? And then you even have the moon phase. So I love that. And then you have your month denoted right here on the side so that it's easy to flip to a certain month if you need to get to that month. Any Sunday is in red. So that's what that's about. We'll get to that. But you have your month noted there on the side. Then if you want to use their time, they do give you a noon time slot to kind of like, you can gauge the middle of your day. And then they give you a little knife and fork if you want to denote your dinner down there at the bottom. They do have this little margin line. So if you want to fill that in with times, it's definitely there for you to do that. If you want to fill it in with just tick off boxes and make a list, it can definitely work for that. If you want to use this for journaling I think it would definitely work great for that. It's the right size to just write a little bit about every day. I'm using my Hobonichi Cousin for journaling, which I've already done a whole video about. But here's what my Hobonichi Cousin looks like journaled in. It's just more room. So this is a smaller amount of room. If you want to do a journal in it or a daily gratitude in it, this would work perfect because it's so small. So I love the idea for this book to use for that also. I love how they put your monthly calendar view down here and circle the day you're on. Because no matter how many calendars or planners I have, I constantly need a reminder of what day I'm on. So I love how every single day has that month's view and has the day you're on circled. The Sunday dates are bolded right there in that monthly calendar. And you do have a quote in English, but I think they are all Japanese quotes that are translated to English. They're really weird quotes to me. I will say that, the ones I've read so far. Really weird. I'm not feeling any of them, to be honest. And I love quotes. I have a whole quote notebook made for myself of quotes I love. So I'm someone who loves quotes, and I'm not really feeling most of the ones I've read in here so far. I would honestly really rather that be blank for me to just be able to write in down there. But it's not, so we have to deal with it. Okay, so I just want to show you what some other days look like. Some have really long quotes. You know what? I'm not sure what the 4 stars denote. If that means it's like a supermoon, or I'm not sure. I will have to check on that. But you get what day you're on. So it's the 2nd of January, and you also get it here, and you're still in week 1, and it's a Tuesday. So I just love how that is always just laid out. Let's look at a Sunday, and that's red. So everything on the Sunday is red. From the print, the number, the calendar, from everything, the grid, even the grid itself is red for Sunday. So that's just the way they do it in this English version. And I'm just a big fan of the way it looks until I write in it. I'm going to be honest. I love the way this book looks. Like, look at that. It's just so clean and fresh, and I just love that information. I could stick my temperatures right up here. I'm playing around with how I'm using my dailies. But when I start to write in it, let's give you a little. So this is what I meant. I made a target list on a page that I just started using it this day. So I have all these blank pages I can use for any notes I need, which is great because there are only a few blank pages at the end here. Just a few. I will show you. I wish there were more blank pages at the end of this planner. There's only a few. I wish there was a lot, like the weeks. But with those few, it's nice that I wasn't using this planner at the beginning, because now I can use these as notes pages, and I can actually go back to the index at the front if it's something I need to refine, and I can write in that index, like I did up here, that date is my target list, and I can easily find it if I need to. So that's one way you can use your index. So you could definitely use this as just a way to take notes every day. Like if you need to take notes on things for the day, throughout the day, and keep all your notes so you'll know, oh, that thing happened on that day, that meeting at work. And then you could use your index for indexing what went on in that meeting. Like, if you talked about food for the next convention or something, I'm just pulling that out of a hat, then you would write it on that day that you took the notes on. And then you would always be able to go back and find it on that day. And you would also know it was discussed on that day in a meeting. So, of course, you guys know I don't have a life like that. But if I did, I can see how that would be really helpful, because this is like your notes notebook and you can go back and reference it. You could also, of course, do that with the bigger cousin. If you needed more room for your daily notes, you could do the same type of indexing thing in there. So I've thought about using it that way too. I definitely have. But right now I'm trying it out as just my daily to-do list. It's a bit small for me. We'll see what happens with it, and I will keep you guys updated. So it's definitely making me write a little bit neater, yet it looks messier. So it looks messier than my Inkwell Daily to me, and yet I am writing neater in it. So I'm not sure I love that feeling, but it definitely looks well used already after only like a week in it. And you can see just what the ghosting looks like on every day once it's used. You see what I'm saying? So if I do not end up using it for my daily list every day, I am pretty sure I will put it to another use, like maybe notes for that day, shopping list for that day, and reference them in the index, because it's a really handy little small book that you can easily throw in your purse. So if you needed notes on the go, lists on the go, like just while you're out and running errands, this would be perfect to keep in your purse at all times, because I mean, like I said, you can make your notes on every single day, know when that is, and index what they were. So I love that idea too. But this is just, and here's my February monthly list. I'm just using a sticky note right now to kind of mark where I am. I just find that's the easiest. I don't want something that sticks up like a paper clip and makes it hard to write. So a sticky note has been working for me. I usually stick it a day ahead or a day or two ahead. And I don't plan ahead generally ever in my dailies, but I did already start making a Saturday list for this Saturday because I just knew it was going to be a busy day, and I already have listed all that in my weekly planner. And because I was excited to have this new planner, I just started writing it in there. But generally, like, I do not write things ahead in my dailies at all. Because number one, I don't even know how long I'm going to use it as my daily. And number two, yeah, I don't plan ahead in here because it would get so much scratched out. That's what my weekly planner's for. I do not write my daily list until the night before or the morning of. I usually try to do it the night before, but sometimes it doesn't happen until the morning of. So, and you can see I've been putting my temperatures there. I kind of have been writing my workout down here to play with it, but I keep track of that in my weekly, so it's not a big deal if it's not in here. But, all right, let's go to the end. So you go all through your whole year. Here we are at the end of 2019, and you get the last day of December, and that's it. Like, that is your last day. Then you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's it. 6 pages. Of course, you have front and back, but it's only 6 pages of a dot grid, red dot grid paper at the back. I love that they gave you some paper, but I really need more notes pages than this in like a daily planner that I'm carrying around with me. So I wish there was more notes pages in here. I wish all these other pages in the back were turned into notes pages. Important contacts, I just don't need that in my planner. You have international size charts. You have international conversion tables for length, area, weight, volume, capacity. You have a little ruler, which I'm sure this could be helpful for some people, but I don't need this. And you can look up any of this information online if you needed to. Then you have highlights of the calendar year in Japan, which might be really interesting to some people, but I really don't need that. Although I probably will read through it just to try to educate myself. Then you have the chronology of Japanese history right here, which I definitely do not need. And I probably will not read through it all, and I wouldn't be really interested in that enough. Then you have Japanese folk tales, which could be really interesting. I'll probably read through those. To be honest, the teacher in me probably wants to read through those. Then international country codes and dialing codes, definitely do not need those. It's interesting, but then you have national holidays for all these different countries. Oh my goodness. I don't need this chart, but that's interesting. And then at the very end, you do have a place to put your contact information. Then you have this really cool thing, which I just like because it makes your planner feel special. Your unique Hobonichi Techo is number, and you get your number in Hobonichi Techo 2018. So I do like that they all come with their unique little number there. But this book was $33 on Amazon, and it was also $33 on JetPens. Since it was the same price and Amazon has faster free shipping. It was on Prime. And JetPens does have free shipping anything over $25, but I knew it would be faster with Amazon, so I went ahead and ordered it there. But JetPens is a great place to get your Hobonichi. Anything over $25 ships free, and if you're ordering like a week's that isn't $25, like $22, then just throw a couple pens in there, because they even sell pens, you know, one by one. It's a really cool site, and then you'll get free shipping. So, all right, guys. That is the story on what I am doing with this Hobonichi English Techo. And I will keep you guys updated on my Instagram. So if you do not follow me on Instagram, come on over. That's where I check in daily. That's where I do all my giveaways from. That's where I really get to interact with you guys. So come visit me at Amanda's Favorites on Instagram. And I always do all kinds of updates there in Instagram stories. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know down below if you use this Hobonichi version. I would love to know if you use it, how long you've used it, and what you use it for. Because, yeah, I'm really interested in that now, in these Hobonichis. All right, have a great day, happy planning, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.